Hello, imaginary people in the future that may watch this at some point. Today is October 3rd. It is 8:48 p.m. and this is an experiment episode 25. This show is officially old enough to have a decrease in its rate on car insurance. Uh, um, I've been doing a lot of thinking recently. I do a lot of thinking all of the time, actually, but I've been thinking especially hard recently about, now that I think about it, about 30 seconds ago, I dropped an or an I can't remember which one it was. And I remembered that a few days ago, I remember saying to myself, I don't do uhs and ums anymore. They are no longer a part of my vocabulary. At no point from here on out is using or acceptable. Put that new boundary on myself. No longer acceptable. I could say it, or I could do that and get away with it. Sure, why not? But I won't. I won't do that. Ultimately, if you think about it, uhs and ums, aside from simply just being filler words, ultimately they interrupt clarity of whatever message it is that someone may be trying to get across. If you think about it in the sense of giving instructions, let me just run with this for a second. Think about giving instructions, and you say, "I want you to go to the grocery store, and while you're there, get some carrots and some peas and a banana and then get some bread." And it's like the amount of time that passes between key pieces of information expands. What I mean by that, if we look at key pieces of information, there's go to the grocery store, carrots, peas, bread. Go to the grocery store, get carrots, peas, and bread. Oh, okay, that's a lot easier to process mentally. Greater clarity. And so it's another one that I want to work on is and so, that little thing. Start with baby steps though, right? No uhs, no ums. Maybe eventually I'll get that right question mark. Did it again. There was the I'll get that right question mark phrase removed from my vocabulary as well. When you say blah 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 blah, right? Is that necessary? Not entirely. So right now I'm working on removing uhs and ums. Find that I have to think about what I'm going to say a lot more. It's not necessarily a bad thing. More cohesiveness to the thought when it's not being interrupted by and So that's one thing that I was thinking about a lot recently. Some of the other things are about where I'm at, present, present tense, in terms of career, what I've been working on, what I've been aspiring to, what my ambition has been, where I came from, how that has mutated and shifted over time, and ultimately landed me right here where I'm at. And then not only that, but where I want to be in the future and what that's going to look like and what that can look like, what I want it to look like or what I don't want it to look like. And here's the thing, I can create my idea of what I want it to look like or what I think it'll look like or what it should look like. But the odds of that actually happening are slim because life changes. It does. Life changes. So I can get close, sure. But the granular details of what that looks like is probably going to shift. I've been thinking a lot about my identity and appearance and how those two things work together. I've been with a full head of hair for most of my life. I've never done a buzz cut, but that's what I'm rocking right now. I have had a short beard, stubble almost, for the last 4, 5 years, maybe longer, 6 years. I don't know exactly how long it's been since I regularly had a clean shaven face like I have right now. I haven't, I just started shaving again. I don't know if I'm going to keep not shaving or if I'm going to start shaving again. We'll see. Right now, I've entered a bit of a I don't know how to phrase it. I know I said believe me, I caught it. I noticed now. And I almost said it again, but I didn't. I've been in this period of, I don't want to say reflection, maybe almost a sense of acceptance. Could call it that. Could call it a sense of acceptance. My dog's licking his paw, so I had to stop him. It's a sense of acceptance that everything that I put into this last push of what I was trying to do with my life, with the coaching business and, content creation, all of that, and none of it really worked out. I won't even say that it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. I feel like that's obvious and goes without saying. But it didn't end up anywhere close to anything that I'd projected. And part of that is a constant flux of listening to the wrong people, bouncing from person to person, thinking maybe this next one, this next person is going to teach me a way to enroll clients better than the last. Never really happened, despite how much work I put into it. And upon reflection, I can't help but wonder how accurate my assessment was of the work that I was putting in and how I was doing it. which is very true of life in general, or rather my life in general. It seems like, as I look back, all of the times when I thought I was putting in my best, I realized that I could have done better. And the thing that gets me is that, your ability to perform and achieve success through your performance. I did it again, but I caught it, don't worry. The success that you achieve through performance, whether it be high performance or just adequate performance, is that you have to be doing the right things in the right way. And it seems like I was doing all of the right things in the right way, but for some reason it never materialized. And I still am not quite sure what the missing piece was. And there's the part of me that wants to say, well, you know what? Maybe I just wasn't cut out for this. Maybe I just can't have it. Maybe there is something wrong with me or something defective about me or XYZ. Part of me that wants to say that. Is it true? I don't know. Does it matter? Definitely not. It can matter if I want it to, right? That's what our beliefs are, right? What do we believe to be true? And how does that create our reality? I think back to before I started down this whole coaching rabbit hole. And I think back to my original vision. Well, I've had a couple of them. And the one that I'm referring to is the vision of inspiring other people to do more. At some point, God, there's another one. I did it again. It's okay. It's a practice. It's not necessarily about being perfect. It's about doing better. That's why I love practices, not habits. I mean, habits are cool and stuff, but practices allow room for forgiveness, which is important so that you don't become too hard on yourself, too judgmental of yourself. The original vision that I had was of me doing all sorts of things that are outside of normal, whatever. Going skydiving, learning all sorts of new skills, and documenting it and posting it online, and kind of this, look how far I've come. If I can do it, you can do it too, type of deal. Let me start pushing the boundaries of what I'm capable of. And I'll let you all watch me in the process. My own kind of reality show-ish. But at some point, something happened where I got this vibe, this feeling of how egotistical that was for some reason. I thought, who am I? I don't, not even that, because I know that's a bit of an imposter syndrome type of deal. Is that when you start asking yourself, who am I to do X, Y, Z? There's another one. I caught it though. I know that I did it. It was more of a feeling that doing that type of project, excuse me, doing that type of project is an ego trip. Hey, everybody, look at me and all of this stuff that I can do. What, do you want a medal for it? Do you want a cookie? Cool. You can do stuff. A lot of people can do stuff. Why should anyone care? Not just that. Another one. Why would anyone care? And ultimately, what's the point? What am I trying to accomplish with doing that? Inspire people to do more with their lives. Okay. Why? Why do I want to do that? I haven't thought about this seriously for a while, but that was my why. Why do I want to inspire people to do more? Because the first thing that comes to mind is because that is what would inspire people to not inspire, but, by doing more, you can have a more fulfilling life. But that's not exactly true either. Because it's not about all of the stuff that you can do. It's about making the most of your experience. The constant battle that I see myself facing internally, spiritually, is the worldly versus not worldly attachment. Or rather, being attached to all of the worldly things is what is ultimately going to hold one to the world. From a spiritual standpoint, in the sense of reincarnation, there's another one did it again. The reincarnation, you die, your spirit gets born into a new body, you live a life, you die, spirit gets born into a new body. You die, spirit gets born into a new body. Then maybe at some point you die, but your spirit doesn't get born into a new body. You transcend, or whatever. I know I did it again. It's okay. and your spirit, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, leaves the cycle of life. And I don't know why I want that so bad, but I really do. Um, there's another one. I really do. I want to lead the cycle of life. Yawning a lot tonight. Why do I want to leave the cycle of life so much? I don't know. I don't know. I just know that I do. I've always known this. I feel like I've always known that I don't want to keep doing this over and over and over again. Have I been here before? I can't say with certainty. Maybe. Has my spirit been here before? Maybe. I don't know. So much yawning. But what I do know is that I don't want to do this again. Life on Earth. Not a fan of it. Every now and then I think about that vision I had one time. I was taking some mushrooms. Shocker. Another one. Let's cut that. And I was on an observation deck of some sort. Like it was like at an airport, where there's the terminal and you can look out onto the tarmac and there's the planes and stuff. Something kind of like that. And I remember from that observation deck waving and turning around and walking into something. I don't know if it was a portal or a pod that I stayed in or what. I don't know. And then immediately after that, I was in my mother's womb as a fetus. There was like this, as if I was remembering how I came to be on this planet and that my consciousness took this body. It was a weird vision. I don't know if it's true. Probably, well, hard to say. Been having lots of existential thoughts recently, though. What am I doing here? And what am I going to do? Not even what am I supposed to do? I don't even think about that anymore. I mean, I guess what am I supposed to do? Be the best version of myself possible. But I think about the whole worldly thing, the stuff, the materialistic things. There's the car, the house, the boat, the, beautiful wife or girlfriend, sexual pleasures, you know, inebriation, all of the worldly things, acquiring, acquiring money, objects, things, people, acquiring relationships, just collecting all of this stuff. But ultimately, what is it going to do? Collecting experiences. Want to travel the world because I love it so much. Well, if you love it so much, then you know what? Why don't we let you just stay here? Is what they would say to me. If I think about it, what would my greatest fear be? My greatest fear would be that I allow myself to fall in love with the world and then I become imprisoned in it. That I become a prisoner of the world. Not just in this lifetime, but in the next, and the one after that, and the one after that. And I guess the question would be, well, what's so bad about that? Why would that be such a bad thing? The other argument is, well, if you're going to be here, you might as well make the best of it, right? So there's that. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I have this constant nagging. Half of me wants to be a world leader, and half of me wants to run off to a temple and live with the monks and isolate from society entirely, move out to the woods, whatever. Mm-hmm. That'd be nice. Just move off. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that I'm coming into a new version of myself. And I think that's what I'm trying to figure out is what exactly am I living into? What's next? Is this chapter over? I think it is. Writing's on the wall. I feel like literally it's on the wall. Um, well, I guess the writing on the wall says you're writing a book. I was coaching a client, and one of the things that I pointed out to him is that his mind is taking the most challenging part of his growth in business and using it against him. To say that he'll never be good enough. And man, when I said that to him, I felt like I was saying it to myself. Anyway, I've decided that I'm going to rewire my sleep schedule. The most difficult part of doing that has every time I've tried is lay down to go to sleep and then not being able to fall asleep. And I end up not falling asleep until the time that I normally fall asleep anyway. So why did I even bother? Because then I end up waking up at the same time that I wake up. So what do I do? So that's the problem. Problem is I can't fall asleep at a significantly earlier time. Ding. So what do I do? Well, I get a bunch of stuff that helps me sleep to force the biological clock to recalibrate itself. Can't start drastically. You got to build. But I think it's possible. I'm almost looking at this as training at this point. I decided I'm going to go back to school for neuroscience. I don't know why I feel like I have to do this, but I feel like I have to do this. There's something that I have to prove to myself. There's a sense of guilt that's attached to it as well. You know, I don't know how much money my parents invested in my education over the years for me to go to school for music and sound. But it's a lot of money that I never had to pay. I never had to worry about it. I was one of the fortunate people that didn't have to pay my own way through college. And I never graduated either, so there's that. And I never had to worry about student debt. And there's a certain amount of guilt attached to wanting to go back. Like it's a big kind of, I don't know. Like I'm ungrateful for all of it because I ended up abandoning all of it. And then there's I was talking to my mom about this the other night. The part of me that wishes I never went down that entire life path in general. A part of me almost wishes that I never got involved in music to begin with, or being in band, playing saxophone, playing viola, any of that. Part of me wishes that I never did that. Then I might have had a little bit more normal of a life. Not that I was ever cut out to have one of those anyway. What if I didn't do music? What if I did sports? Or what if I just did academics? Or what if I was just a really academically strong kid? What could I have achieved by this point if I wasn't tormented in high school doing the only thing that I kind of enjoyed? I was in band and I got picked on by the band kids. That's not fucked. I don't know what is. There is a certain sense of regret that I didn't do more sooner, that I fell victim to mental illness. But I didn't know any better. No one taught me better. It's just ignorance. You know, one of the things that I think about sometimes, I never really wanted kids. The older I get, the more appealing it seems. Kind of. I'm not entirely there yet. We'll see. But it's this kind of feeling of, let me teach someone in the next generation all of the good stuff that they can take into the world. Not in the sense of have them live the unfulfilled life that I wish I had, not like that kind of thing where I wish that I did sports and so I make my kid do sports because blah blah. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, teaching a young child about the value and the joy of life and time, so that by the time that they're a fraction of my age, they see the world in a way that makes sense, like I see it, so that they can take that and do great things in the world. Why would they want that? Right? That's the other part of it. Trying to force your kid into doing something or being something. May not even want to be here. Okay. All of this may seem a little like sad and depressing and blah blah blah. It's just introspection. It's just thought. It's philosophizing, if that's a word. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm taking a lot of stock and inventory of my life right now. Hard truths, inconvenient truths, honesty of the self. And what can I do? Ultimately, the question is, what can I do to make the most of the rest of the time that I have? The other thing that I've been thinking about, I know I started sounding like I was about to wrap this up, because I am. There's something else. And it's this concept of aging and what you do and how long it takes you to do it and all of this stuff. And I'm about to turn 34 next week, actually. I think there's a big part of that involved in all of my existential crises. But I very rarely, I haven't had this feeling for a while. But I get the feeling like time's running out. I don't know why. Don't know why. Thinking about 55, even 54, 20 years from now. 20 years is a lot of time. You can do a lot in 20 years. What do I want to do in 20 years? What do I want to do for the next 20 years? What's my bigger mission in life? Sure, I can inspire people to do more and be more and push themselves outside of their comfort zones and be willing to fail in order to achieve success and all of that stuff. People talk about legacy. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to leave behind? And again, that's kind of like that worldly thing of like, why do you want to be remembered? The legacy question is, what do you want to be remembered for? I think the better question is, why do you want to be remembered? Why do you want to be remembered? Why do I want to be remembered? I don't know if I do. And then, there's always well, maybe this is my legacy. This experiment, maybe it is my legacy. I don't know. I don't know a lot of things. Older you get, the less you know. But what I do know is that there is a strong change in the way that I show up for myself and other people moving forward. I realized that I'd reached a point of burnout in life, in business, career. I got burned out. So burned out. So I took the entirety of September to deal with that, to work through that, work around it, to recover from the burnout, to get my shit back together because it had fallen apart. And now I'm back, showing up stronger and better than ever. New me, not really new, just improved. I almost think of it in this kind of sense of, that comfort zone. And the limits of your capability. How far do you push yourself before you break? I did that. I pushed myself to my breaking point and I broke. How high can you fly before the sun melts your wings? Valuable information right here in this whole experience, my coaching business. Valuable experience. It sucks that the biggest lessons were know how to tell that you're getting taken advantage. Know how to identify when you got taken advantage of. You know, there's that interesting little dynamic when you get taken advantage of. Because you are a bit of a victim being exploited. And it's like, yeah, okay, so what do I do about that victimization to take back the power and make the most of it? But on the other hand, it's like, why can't people just not take advantage of each other? Why does it have to be like that? Why does it have to be victim or victor? Why does it have to be eat or be eaten? Why do you have to be the shark or be the fish? I don't know. What I do know is I have to wrap this up and call it a night. This has been good philosophizing. I think I use the words and significantly less. I think I sound more coherent when I do that. So I'm going to keep it up. And that's all I got. So today is Sunday, October 3rd. And this is an experiment, episode 25.